When this kid was in 3rd grade, his school had fake money that they would give out to students who behaved well. Every morning, right before school started, there would be this convenience store type thing set up for students who had this fake money to buy stuff like school supplies, candy, snacks. Well, anyway, during spring break, this kid and his family went to the beach. And every day, this kid would walk the beach and grab every single seashell he could find. He put them all in a bag and took them home with him when spring break was over. He took these seashells to school and told all of his classmates that these shells were from a fantasy island and that they were magical. Kids actually believed him. Everyone started asking him for the seashells. He said, "You can have some seashells, but you have to give me all of your fake money." And kids did it. So every morning he was buying stuff from the convenience store, and the teacher was getting a bit suspicious. "Hey man, how are you always able to buy so much stuff? You must have amazing grades. Anyway, here's your candy bar." "Yeah, that's it. I have amazing grades. Thank you, mister." He eventually got caught and got 1 detention. Every day in elementary school, this kid sat right by the vending machines, and the vending machines sold Snapple, and everyone loved Snapple. The Snapple was sold for 75 cents, but whenever people bought it, they would just put $1 in and get their quarter back. That's when he got this idea. What he began doing was he would take a big wad of napkins with a tiny string attached, and he would shove it in the part of the vending machine where the change comes out. So whenever kids go and buy their Snapple with their $1, they would not get that quarter. And because it's just a quarter, the kids are like, "Oh well, at least I have my Snapple." After lunch is when he would go to the vending machine, pull the little string with the napkin attached, and collect all the quarters that were stuck up there. He was getting like $10 a day, which isn't crazy money, but what's brilliant is how he got the money. You gotta respect the hustle. The dumbest rules parents had their kids follow. When this girl was in high school, her parents had this very strict rule. "All right, love you guys, I'm going to my friend's house." "Okay, don't forget the rules." "I won't." The rule was this: she had a curfew every night, and for every minute she was late after curfew, she would be grounded for a week. So if she was 2 minutes late coming home, she'd be grounded for 2 weeks. Well, one day she was stuck behind a train. Come on, come on, come on. It was one of those long trains. You know what I'm talking about. Well, it was passing for 10 minutes, causing her to be 10 minutes late, Marissa. Do you know what that means? You were 10 minutes. Honey, please, I got this. No. 10 minutes late is what? 10 weeks. Excuse me? 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Very good. You're grounded for 10 weeks. Now get to your room. Oh, God, I hate them so much. Stupid rule. What the heck? What's a pineapple doing in here? It's 7th grade and this kid Lucas brings a bunch of Costco gum to school. Tons of packs. Every single flavor. And he never made a big deal about it, but he would pull them out here and there so that people could see. And naturally, they would ask for a piece of gum. And when they did, 50 cents. "Oh, I don't have any money right now." "Oh, that's fine. Pay me later." And that was his thing. You know, at first people were like, he's not gonna ask for that money later, you know? It's just a piece of gum. But that's where they were completely wrong. Because after he would give someone a piece of gum and say, "Pay me later," he would pull out a tiny notebook and write down the debt in that notebook. Everybody had a tab. Their name, their flavor, and how much they owed. But the thing is, he wanted this debt to grow. He would walk up to them. "Hey, so you still owe me from last week, but I just got this crazy new watermelon flavor. You want a piece? I'll just put it on your tab." And he just kept stacking debt on top of debt on top of debt until finally he decided it was time to collect. He goes to the 2 biggest kids in class. "Carl? Mordecai? Yeah. I'll give you 10%. Here's the list. Get me my money." And they would go around school with the list. "Hey, you got Lucas's money? I'm here to collect." And these kids were big and intimidating, and people did pay him back. Lucas made like $175 before this whole thing was shut down. You gotta respect the hustle, I guess. When this girl was in elementary school, she got in trouble for using a big word. Something upset her in class, and she used the word vexed, which means annoyed, frustrated, worried. Well, the teacher overheard and yelled at her. The teacher said that she should have just used the word angry. Well, her teacher then sent a note to her mom explaining the situation. Her mom marked the teacher's note for errors in red pen and sent it back to her with a note that read, "When you can use proper English, you can correct hers." Legendary mom. The dumbest school rules ever. This one elementary school had a rule where a student, if they were feeling sick, would not be able to go home or call their parents unless they had a fever or puked. Well, one day this kid's stomach was super messed up. He wasn't feeling good at all. "Miss, can I go to the nurse's office, please? Ow." So he goes to the nurse's office. "So it's a stomach ache, huh?" "Yes." "Yeah. Yeah, it hurts so bad." Well, you don't have a fever, and you didn't throw up, and you can't stay here. I have to send you back to class. I'm sorry. Are you serious? Yeah, you know the rules. Well, this made him super mad because his stomach was actually hurting pretty bad. So he stared at her, and with incredible focus and pure dedication, he somehow managed to get himself to throw up right on the nurse. Can I go home now? The school changed that rule shortly after that. This kid's always the first one on the bus every single day, and he'd walk in and he would go directly to the back right bus seat. And he would do this because about 15 minutes into the route, there was this bump in the road that the bus would hit every day. And if you were in that back seat, it would launch you up, and it was awesome. And the driver knows this, so he would hit that bump at full speed. It's coming, here it is. Well, he experienced it a bunch, and then he had a brilliant idea. Every day, people ask, hey man, can I try that seat today? Bro, let me try that seat today, please. And when people ask, he starts saying, well, what do you got? One kid pulled out a Twinkie. All right, deal, have a seat. The next day, someone else says, I'll give you $2 for the seat today. Anyone got something better? I got Sour Patch Kid watermelons. Deal. He's auctioning off that seat every single morning. People are offering Doritos, money, their lunch desserts, their entire lunch. Whoever wins gets the launch, and the whole bus always counts down right before it's gonna happen. All right, you ready, Kevin? Yeah, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. Oh, nice. And that, my friends, is awesome. This teacher said he has a thing he does whenever he loses control of his class. He grabs a stapler and says, anyone want to put a staple in my hand? The physical pain would be nothing compared to how I feel right now, when all I want to do is help you guys reach your full potential, but you don't care. Somebody then usually doubts his seriousness and says, yeah, I'll put a staple in your hand. That's when he walks up to their desk, puts the stapler down, and puts his hand down and says, do it. The students usually give a nervous giggle and they pretend to do it, but they never do. Well, one day he did this little stunt again, and a student was like, yes, mister, I'll put a staple in your hand. He brings a stapler over, puts his hand down, and the student actually staples his hand. He didn't freak out or anything. He calmly looked at his hand, asked, did that really happen? Pulled the staple out while blood trickled down, and he said, are we done? Can I go back to teaching now? All the students were completely shocked. The kid that did it felt so bad that he stapled his own hand at the end of class. People who were legends in their high school. There was this one teacher at this one high school that never let anybody use the bathroom, no matter how many times they asked. There was this one girl in class who hated this teacher, and the teacher hated her. Every day, she would always ask if she could use the bathroom, and the teacher said no. Well, on the last day of school, this girl was in this teacher's class. She asked the teacher twice if she could use the bathroom, and the teacher said no. This is what happened when she asked for the third time. Miss, can I please use the bathroom? I really have to go. I swear to God, if you ask me one more time, no, you may not. Okay, fine, but just remember, you did this. The girl then stood up, stared at the teacher, and peed her pants. She got in big trouble, but she went home and told her parents about this, and her father was a urologist. Her father called the school, and this teacher got into huge trouble. Don't put your finger in a Tesla Cybertruck. Look at all these car trunks. When they come down on something, they seem to sense it and come back up. Probably to protect people's hands, fingers, stuff like that. But the Tesla Cybertruck seems to be a different story. It just full sends the trunk down without any regards to what's in its way. See for yourself. The dumbest rules parents made their kids follow. When this person was growing up, his parents wouldn't allow him to use public restrooms at all. Even on trips to Disney World, if he had to go to the bathroom, they had to go all the way back to the hotel, which is bogus. When he was in elementary and middle school, at the start of every year, his parents would call the teachers and told them to let them know if their son ever used the public bathroom. If he was caught using the public bathroom at school, his parents would punish him when he got home. Growing up, there was no place he could safely use the bathroom other than his home without getting in trouble. When he got to high school, the parents tried the same thing. They called the teachers and said, let us know if he ever uses the public restroom. The teachers in high school thought that was weird, and they never followed through. So he got away with using the bathrooms in high school. But it wasn't until college, where this kid was finally allowed to use any public bathroom he wanted without fear of being punished by his crazy parents. This Jesus statue began leaking water, and people thought it was a miracle, but it definitely wasn't. In 2012, when water began trickling down this Jesus Christ statue at a church in India, everybody thought it was a miracle. Hundreds and hundreds of people were gathering there every day to collect some of this water. People were even drinking it because they thought it could cure diseases. But this man right here was not buying it at all. His name is Sanal Idamaruku, and he wanted to see it for himself. So he traveled to the statue, and he did some investigating. He went to a building nearby, and that's where he found drain pipes that were severely clogged. Turns out, the water that was trickling down the statue was coming from a broken sewage pipe on the other side of the wall. So the water these people were collecting and drinking was sewage water. Sanal then shared this information with everybody, but the people did not want to believe it. Instead, Sanal received hundreds of death threats, and the Catholic Church sentenced him to prison